Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Pet Peeves Podcast, episode number 26. This episode, we have my really good friend, a guy I known for a long time. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Roger Lopez. How's it going, Roger?
Hey, it's going really good, bro. Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Welcome to my place. You've never been here before, just like everybody else. This is, my home. What do you think?
Bro, it's amazing, bro. Yo,
Thank you.
Man, every time I go into like one of our good friends' apartments, I'm like, man, me and Niall's apartment is like fucking pigsty dog shit apartment.
But I seen you guys' place is just like a bachelor pad. It's just like you guys are doing what young dudes do. That's like a phase. You know?
It is a phase.
A part of the
man.
phase is realizing you don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And knowing that you need to do something about it. Like that you can't live like that forever.
Yeah, I get tired of waking up with like blunt guts next to me. I'm
Yeah,
like, yo,
no
my lazy ass needs to like clean
Absolutely.
up more. But beautiful spot here, bro.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
Beautiful
it.
spot.
Thanks to my wife, Diana. Diana, say hi. We can hear you. No, we keep clean, I think, because both of us keep up with it. I mean, that's just it. Like, if I see a mess, I don't leave it there because I know if I don't clean it up, I'm going to be staring at it for a while. So I have to, like, clean. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. I used to not care so much, but I think now that I'm married in a relationship, it just kind of matters more.
I'm caring more because it's starting to make me feel better when shit's clean.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
And it's also a workout too when you're cleaning. If you think about
Part
it,
of it.
and then
Yeah,
like
you're being active.
You're being active instead of like sometimes I'll just be like sitting down for hours and I'll be like, yo, let me clean my room.
You know what I could do right now? I could get up and clean. Yeah, for sure. But I never lived in like my place before. I'm telling you, until I got back with her, which was what, 2017. I always had roommates. I never had my own place, so I didn't have any like personal investment. Like I didn't care if the place looked like shit because it was never my place. We were like renting, or I was living in my friend's place. You know, it was all some shit like that.
Yeah,
but this is the first time I've taken like personal pride in how my place looks and what people think of it. Like if you came over and this wasn't my place, it was her place, and I was just living here, I wouldn't give a shit. You know what I mean? It wouldn't matter. But now I care.
No, I'm starting to care a lot more too because we got somebody living in our living room. So like, I'm like, we can't be disrespectful.
Yeah, no shit. There's a level of respect. No doubt.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, man. I like this place. I do. The open is not great for a podcast for the sound of it, but I have a real good producer and audio editor. His name is Michael Beagley. You guys don't know, but I have a friend in Belgium that actually edits the podcast for me.
Damn. That's
So he's
sick.
a real audio engineer, and I just send him the files, and he cleans them up for me, and he's fucking dope. And to be honest, like, you think that you can do it, right? Because you can watch the YouTube tutorials, you can figure it out.
Yeah.
But when you got a real audio engineer that knows what they're doing, do it. You're like, oh yeah, this is better.
This is
better.
that's professionalism. Yeah, bro. You should see
Teamwork.
how I record my podcast, bro. The utmost professionalism at Roger That Studios. Man. What we have is no table, so no table in Roger That Studios. What we instead have is my guitar amp.
Oh, that's nice.
So we have my guitar amp, and as far as recording equipment goes, we have a professional iPhone 6 amp.
No, but you got to start somewhere, right?
Definitely, bro. Actually, it's fucked up. I started at my university, which has a beautiful, like, it has like
a studio?
Like, it has a legit studio, like in the creative media studio room.
No shit.
Like, it's beautiful. And I have some videos of me and my Instagram story.
I think I remember this. This was like back when you first started doing Round of
like
That,
a
right?
year ago. Yeah. So I've kind of degressed, but you know what? I'm working my way up.
It still works, right?
Yeah, definitely.
My podcast always like needs improvement. Like the last podcast I did with Niles, I fucked up. My mic wasn't on. I thought it was because I saw the reading, but my computer was picking up my audio, not my mic. So Niles' sounded great. Mine sounded like shit. Even though I've done this so many times, I still made like a little mistake. But we could fix it in post. People don't notice that much, but I notice, and it just irritates me that I make those little errors.
Yeah.
So it's just always like a little improvement, evolution.
It's always good to have somebody that
improvement.
knows what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Because like I remember when I was doing it at CSUN, I fucked up the audio because my voice sounded really echoey. And then I was like, I'm not an audio engineer. I'm just gonna have to post it like that. Like,
Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah.
So I'm glad I have somebody that can help me. But
Yeah, that's very cool.
But then my standards start to go higher and higher. The more I do it, it's like, okay, I have some episodes that sound great, so now I want them all to sound great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Crispy.
Yes,
clean.
that's
Yeah,
what you
I love
want.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always good. Like I'm always pleasantly surprised when I record a podcast that the guests are great and the conversation is great. And I don't know if it's because of the theme, the pets, that people come over and we just kind of bullshit. And I don't know, it's like a light subject. We're not talking about depression. We're not talking about, even comedy in general. But those topics come up around the animals, and then it's like a lighter conversation.
Yeah,
It's not so dark. and the conversations that I've had on here that circle around animals, but in the center it's about like some real shit. Those are the more popular episodes. So it's like I got to keep that theme going.
Oh man, I'm dumb as fuck. I'm gonna just be like, your cat's so pretty.
Nah, dude, you already made me feel good when you came over and you were really interested in the bearded dragon, because like, I think he's such a cool fucking pet.
The coolest fucking pet.
I think he's so cool, and I can't stop like staring at him, thinking like, you're a little dinosaur. Like, it's crazy.
Wow,
like, I can't believe that you're like a totally different creature than me or my dog, my cat, what I'm used to. That's just so different. And then it eats bugs. It's crazy. It's like bugs are weird. Bugs are fucking weird. And then this thing eats those weird things. So it's like, if bugs are like Martians, then this is like the Martian killer. You know what I mean? So if we ever had like an invasion of aliens, all we need is like giant bearded dragons.
That's so funny because like there's a novel called John Carter of Mars, written by the same dude who wrote Tarzan.
Oh, okay.
The original one. And so the book came out. The book is basically about a dude going from here to Mars and starts like killing all these aliens. And for just reasons, you know, he's fighting for the good aliens, the good Martians. But like your bearded dragon is like the personification of the main character, John Carter, like killing all these Martian bugs.
John Carter. That sounds like a Jay-Z remix album.
It's super white name, but great series, bro. Great series. I love your bearded dragon, bro.
Thank you. That's so cool, Toothless with the F, not Toothless. We named him after the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. It's Toothless, but he's toothless. He's a little more street. He's a little more hood. This one.
A little bit more a little hood. It also sounds a little cuter too.
Yeah, he's for sure cute. Like I can't stand his cute little face. He's 6 months old, 7 months old right now, and you know, I always think he's gonna die because I don't know how to take care of him properly. Like I had to do so much research, and Diana, my wife, and I are like sitting in bed reading about bearded dragons and how to get him to eat, because he's supposed to eat like half insects and half vegetables. So in the beginning, when he was real little, he would eat the vegetables. I'd put a leaf in front of him, he would mow it down just as much as he would a cricket. Yeah. But as he got older, he stopped eating the fruits and vegetables and just wanted the crickets. And then one time we ran out of crickets, so I was feeding him just the mealworms or the giant worms, super worms. And that was bad, you know? Yeah. So he got sick, and then he wasn't eating. And so then we did all this research, and he wasn't getting the proper amount of calcium. He wasn't getting the proper amount of vitamins. He wasn't getting the proper amount of UV, like sunlight. So, like, even though I'm the smart guy, I care, I tried, we invested time, money, and we still fucked up because there's so many things. There's so many things you need to keep track of. And, you know, when you're busy and you have a real life and you're like, okay, you read a list of 10 things and you might remember like 4 of them, right? Yeah. And the other 6, you're like, I'll read it again later. And then you run out of time. And then you don't. And then you kind of wing it. And then you're like, he's eating. He's cool.
Yeah, that's like, not good at all, bro.
It's like giving him superworms all the time is like feeding your kid McDonald's every day. It's not good.
Bro, that's why a lot of Mexican children have like fucking like teeth that are so shiny at like 5 years old because their parents just feed them sugar. Like shit.
Dude, I know. I grew up Mexican. I grew up thinking that like McDonald's was a meal and Pizza Hut was a meal and beans and rice is a meal. Like there's no vegetables. There's no like variety. You know, there's no variety. But now that I'm older, I live in LA. They make Mexican food like super dope. Like, you can
delicious Mexican food.
Hell yeah, dude. No, things are different now. So people are into like better food these days, so you have better options. You don't have to just eat a taco. You can load it up with everything fucking good and delicious and healthy.
Yeah, when I'm at a taco stand, man, I put cucumbers, I put the radish, I put all 3 types of salsas.
It's like a salad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's like a very nutritious salad. It's good for you.
Hell yeah. And if you like spicy food and you eat a lot of peppers and shit, there's a lot of vitamin C and it's good for you too. If you eat a lot of spicy food, it's really good for your system. And then spicy food with garlic is really good for your immune system too. So typically, that's how you can prevent a lot of disease. Not cure disease, but prevent disease by eating just spicy food.
If you eat spicy food too, like a little unknown tip, like if you do blow right after, like your nose is so good.
Hey man, whatever it takes. All right, well we just turned into the substance abuse side of this podcast, so let's take this shot. We got some Maker's Mark from Costco. Yeah. Costco, you want to sponsor the podcast or Maker's Mark? No, you're more than welcome. Cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome. And that's just Coke if you want a chaser. The liquid kind of Coke.
Uh-huh.
And then we got the Steezy.
No substance abuse here, though, folks. Just in case any family members of mine are listening, or of Albert's.
No, I don't give my pets any drugs or alcohol. I could do whatever I want. I'm an adult human being.
I've never in my life gotten my multi-poo high on purpose.
Yeah, me neither. I think it's crazy. I don't know who I was talking to about with it. I think maybe Arthur. I think it's fucked up. Maybe it wasn't Arthur, but that when people are saying, "Oh, my dog likes getting high. My dog likes getting high," it's like, no, he doesn't. You're just a fucking idiot, and you like getting your dog high. Yeah. It's not the same thing.
You just want somebody to get high with.
Yeah,
you're
just lonely
motherfucker, bro. Yeah. Go find a friend.
Yeah, man. Go fucking get a girlfriend.
Get a girlfriend. So smoke her out, bro.
Yeah, dude. Bro. But it's like young guy shit. Like when I was in high school, people would be doing a lot more than now. But I feel like in Los Angeles, there's probably a lot of people out there smoking their dogs out when they should be taking their dog for a walk. You know?
Yeah. Most people would rather smoke them out and be like, "Yeah, it's chill right now."
I'm hanging out with my dog right now, smoking this blunt. Like, no, you're not. You're smoking a blunt. Your dog is depressed.
Hey, your dog is breathing carcinogens. So.
No, your dog's gonna get lung cancer. You and your dog are gonna have cancer, and you both don't have insurance. And that's gonna be the biggest fucking issue for you.
Bro, I was watching a Rick and Morty episode. Have you seen the one about the dogs getting like smart?
Yeah, hell yeah.
With the helmet.
Yeah. Snowflake, I think the dog's name or something.
Snowflake.
Yeah, dude, I love that episode. That's one of my favorite episodes. I love that show, and that's probably top 3 favorite episodes.
It was I forgot what did the Snowflake say at the end? I was gonna bring up a point about it.
He was like,
basically saying this, like, yo, man, in our new society of pet ownership, like all pets are legally required to have healthcare.
Yeah, no shit, no.
And I thought about it. I was like, that's very true,
dude. In the healthcare industry, one of the biggest problems is that people don't get pet health insurance, and it exists, and people don't get it. Mm-hmm. Well, the real problem is that veterinarians try to charge outrageous prices for services because they want to compete with human medicine. The real problem is that a veterinarian, an animal doctor, wants the same social credentials and the same like status socially as a human doctor. So they just charge astronomical prices for shit that they shouldn't. And then the equipment to do the shit is crazy price because the companies making the equipment know that if they sell it for a lot, the doctors are going to buy it and then just charge a lot of money for those services. And it's just going to separate classes. People that can afford the good medicine, people who can't afford the good medicine. And then with insurance, it's expensive. So if you have the money to afford the insurance, you probably have the money to afford the services in the first place. It doesn't really it doesn't really help the poor people. Insurance doesn't help poor people. Insurance helps people who have money. Not a lot of money, but money. If you have no money, insurance doesn't help you, right? You still got to buy insurance. You're still putting yourself in the hole for something that might never go wrong, right? Health-wise.
That's a motherfucker, bro. It's like if you buy a TV, like you could get insurance for it, or you could spend it on your family, you know?
Right, exactly. Like, am I going to eat today, or am I going to have insurance that I might get sick tomorrow? Well, shit, man, I'm hungry. You know, I'm going to die if I don't eat. It's like priority. And that's the problem with the healthcare system. That's why healthcare has to be free and paid for by rich people. That's the only way it works. It needs to be free, but it's not really free. It's paid for by the taxes of rich people that make a shit ton of money. You don't need $40 million. You don't. If you have $40 million and you donate 10 of it to help poor people have medicine, you still have $30 million. Yeah. What are you worried about? What do you need it for? But then their mentality is, I worked for it, so should you, but you didn't. You were privileged. Even if you were born like poor and you made it, you probably had like arms and legs. You probably had a brain that worked. You probably have like, you know, you can smell, taste, hear, some sort of privilege. I'm just saying, there's like, nobody does it alone. That's my point. Like, if somebody helped you, you should help others.
It's especially like really shitty to hear like people that have generational wealth call people lazy. I'm like, you did nothing. Your grandfather invented ketchup and popularized it in America. That does not give you the right to judge everybody else in the world that is from the proletariat class.
Hell yeah, man. I had I lived in South Korea for so long, in Asia for so long, that I like missed a bunch of, not that I missed, but I kind of forgot what Americans were like and how ignorant they could be about culture and shit. Especially I was working at a hospital where a doctor was like, oh, I never met a Mexican like you. You know, and his point was like, you know, he never met.
Like, that's fucked.
Yeah, he was trying to compliment me, but it was like an ass backwards compliment. And I'm just like, man. And this same doctor told me, he was like, we were listening to music during surgery, and I'm like, helping him with surgery, and he's like, put on music you like, and I put on Kendrick Lamar. He's like, why do you like Kendrick? And I was like, because he's a self-made guy. Like, he did it on his own. He didn't accept handouts, blah, 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 that he came from nothing and made something of himself like myself. And he was like, well, me too. I came up from nothing. I did this all on my own. I'm like, you're from Pacific Palisades. Your parents both are privileged, educated, wealthy white people. Like, you don't understand. Like, you really think your struggle was equal? Then you have no idea, and this conversation needs to end. And that's just not even fun.
And then if you think about it, like, if you're from somewhere that used to be only Mexicans, then you're probably privileged enough to be in that nice ass area. Because what's crazy that you bring up Pacific Palisades, I just learned about it today in my Chicano history of Chicanos class. Because I learned about I forgot what the guy's name that basically owned that whole fucking land, just a Mexican dude. And then eventually, slowly, they started they were like, yo, your deeds are in Spanish. They're not recognized in America now that we've, annexed your country to be, or not annexed, incorporated your country to be a part of the United States. So basically, all the Pacific Palisades where your friend grew up was basically just taken by Europeans that, migrated from Europe and all that shit. Yeah. Pacific Palisades, like Sepulveda, he owned he owns a huge ass ranch. Like back in the days, like the dude that his name was Sepulveda.
That the whole road is named after, I'm guessing?
That's why fucking Sepulveda stretches from like Thousand Oaks or whatever the fuck in the valley.
North and south all the way, right?
To like Torrance, bro. Because of these generational shit. So I get what you're saying, man. Some people are like, yo, I came from nothing, man. You came from Beverly Hills.
Right, son. Right, man. It's not the same.
It's just crazy because their brain probably sees other people that are well-to-do, and they're like, yo, but his dad grew up with 100 million. My dad only grew up with 10 million.
Exactly.
Like, you see why I came from nothing? I'm like, no. Like, I don't feel bad for them. I understand their
I understand
point of view
too, right? It's just different.
Because their minds are so warped that they saw nothing else.
Right. The reality is just different. The reality is different. And I don't really get mad at people like that, but I know that we can't talk about it. I mean, we could try. Not me. I'm not the one. I'm not like a social commentary person. I don't pay attention to politics. I don't know anything about economies or economics. I don't really. Like, I took economics class in high school, and I didn't understand. I really didn't understand. I didn't understand the stock market. I didn't understand, they made these analogies with guns and butter. Like, have you heard this analogy?
No.
Things that are necessary and things that are not necessary, sort of, but they're equally valued. You know what I mean? Guns and butter, like food and protection. Like, do you really need protection? Do you really need a gun? If a society is running well, why do you need a gun? You don't really need it, but you're always going to need food no matter what. So why even invest in military? Why invest in defense? If you only invested in things that help people, in theory, you wouldn't need the protection. But they refuse to do it, right? Because of the economy. The economy wants you to buy shit that you don't need to make you feel good. Feel protected, feel happy, feel fulfilled.
Even more so than the economy, man. Like, it's the politicians and our leaders, quote unquote, that are basically selling out all these government contracts and weapons to their friends. So let's say I was a leader, I'm like, yo, Albert, Trump he just gave me $50 million to make a couple guns, bro. Albert, it's gonna cost you $10 million, so I'm gonna give you $50 million. You're gonna spend 10 to make really dope ass guns, and then we're gonna pocket $40 million. So we're gonna pocket 20 each. And that's what's happening right now with our tax money. And that money, that $50 million, is all of our tax money.
Hell yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy because people know it. People know that there's what do they call it? Industrial military complex or something like that? Yeah, military industrial complex.
You're right. Industrial military complex.
Yeah, it's one of those for sure.
I'm pretty. It sounds like it's that one. Yeah.
And it's fucked. But when I lived abroad,
the military industrial complex. When
I lived abroad, first of all, I was young. I was 25. You're 25, right?
Yeah. I was doing the math too when you were saying you lived in Korea for that. I'm like, yo, he was around my age.
I went 25 to 30. 25 years old to 30 years old. I lived in Asia. I lived in Korea 4.5 years and Thailand for 6 months. But when I first went out there, I had come from Northwest Indiana, which was where I grew up, all Mexican and Puerto Rican, some black. And then I moved to Maryville, which was mostly white. And then some black and nothing else. No Mexicans, no Asians, something like that. It was just white and black. And then little by little, the Mexican people from where I'm from started moving that way. I was just the first of the wave.
Yeah.
But so when I went to college at Purdue University, it was mostly white people. So it was a huge culture shock for me because this is white people that weren't around blacks and Mexicans, unlike the white people I grew up with. White people I grew up with listen to rap, hip hop. White people at Purdue University listen to country, right? Like that's a different kind of white person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this podcast is never intended to go racist, but here we are. And, you know, it was no big deal, but I had to like adjust. The first time when I moved from like the Mexican Puerto Rican neighborhood to the white black neighborhood, and then I moved from that to the mostly white campus, and then I moved from that to fucking South Korea.
Damn,
you know what I mean?
bro, you experienced like 4 or 5 cultures in
Hell
like
yeah,
the span of 7 years.
Yeah, and then it didn't end there. From Korea, I was in Thailand. I experienced that shit. From Thailand, I went to Chicago, experienced that shit, and then I worked in Gary, Indiana. Then I was in LA, and in LA, I lived in West Hollywood. Then I was in Cerritos. Then I was in Anaheim. Then I was in Long Beach.
Damn.
So I saw like all these different cultures and shit. But that wasn't my point. My point was when I was in Asia, something about that. What the fuck were we talking about?
We're talking about like your experience, just moving from culture to culture.
Yeah.
And then how like
adjusting to cultures,
adapting, and it's definitely crazy going from culture to culture.
Oh yeah, we were talking about
Mexican.
that's what I was talking about. Just like that, just like just realizing that some people like don't have an appreciation because at one point I didn't either, so I can sympathize, right? Like you were saying with the guy from the Pacific Palisades, like his worldview is limited because his experience is limited. And at one point, so was mine, until I like lived in these different situations and saw, like, first of all, when I went to Korea, originally when I went out there, it was because I was like, oh, I'm done with the United States. They're not helping me. I don't have health insurance. It was 2008, 2009, and there was a financial crisis.
Yeah.
It was like a housing crisis, all that shit. So I was like, fuck the United States. And then went out there, and I was like, oh, Korea's awesome. Cheap food, delicious food, cheap alcohol, party every day. They pay me better, blah, blah, blah. But then after a while, I like started missing home because Korea was so xenophobic. Do you know what xenophobic is?
No, what does that mean?
They think their culture is the best. They think their nationality is better than everybody else's. So essentially it means they're racist, right?
Okay.
Just like us. Just like us.
No, just like some Anglo-Saxon American.
No, man, everybody's fucking racist. Let me tell you that. Everybody's racist. Like our country thinks our country is better than the other countries. Forget the fighting amongst the people in the country. Us as Americans think our country is better than every other country.
That's crazy. No, that's because it goes back to when I'm learning again in my history of Chicano
Go ahead,
class.
go ahead.
Like
Super interested.
The Europeans came over here because of the manifest destiny bullshit that we already know, because they felt morally superior, because they were xenophobes as well, because they believed their culture was
by God,
and it outranked everybody else's culture, even the Latinos and so on and so forth. So, man, I feel like taking this class, I feel like I'm still a part of like America because like with the we, but I also feel like I'm not, because I'm not like one of the motherfuckers that raped and pillaged.
Well, I think that's what makes us American. That you're like, I'm American, but I'm also other things.
Yeah, that is very true. But as far as like the xenophobes in America, they're the ones that are like, no, I'm just American. But it's like, no, you got to recognize that you're European.
Sure.
And you're not really, your people aren't from here, and you're just immigrants in reality.
Yeah.
And so there's your xenophobic centralism or philosophy in America is based off of bullshit, really, as opposed to Korea, where they're still in Korea, so I fuck with that.
No, I feel like they have like a better angle on it than we do as Americans, because their country is like fucking everybody's Korean, not like our country where everybody's a bunch of shit. So when their xenophobia makes more sense, you know what I mean? It does a little more than ours.
It's off of nationality and like history, like
their
whole.
This is something that came up in I don't remember when, another podcast or maybe something we were talking about in just like amongst friends. But like when your whole country is the same people, you do share everything. Like you eat the same food, you have the same religion, you fucking read the same books as kids, you sing the same nursery rhymes as kids. Your grandparents are the same like crazy myth healing, fucking holistic healing shit, like grandma medicine. And like that's what holds a culture together. That they all agree on certain like nuances of like standard living, like just what's normal, what is abnormal. And that's what I learned about, because I never spent a lot of time in Mexico. I did when I was like 17. I went for a trip, but I was so young that I didn't appreciate any of the culture. I was there just trying to like be cool. Like I was just trying to be cool. I was American, and I was.
I'm American, man. I don't speak Spanish, really.
Exactly.
When you look at me, I'm gonna look at you, like weird.
Yeah, exactly. I was just trying to be cool, but it worked. I met some really hot girls.
There you go. Good story.
But I was, I didn't know what to do with it. I was too young, but it worked. My coolness worked. I got what I wanted. I was like, okay, I got the hot girl, but I didn't know what to do with her. But when I was in Korea, I learned like, as much as I hated in the United States, when I got to Korea, I went through a couple phases. Originally, I met a bunch of military people, and I hated them. So it made me hate the United States more, right? But then I started thinking about the whole picture, right? The United States has a lot of military in a lot of places in the world.
Everywhere.
They're positioning themselves in case of problems. So whatever, right?
Problems, bro. Well, yeah.
They want control, right? It is a lot of in case.
Control.
It's a lot of in case. Like if this happens, we want people here. If this happens, we want people here.
It's also for us to be like, yo, man. We should take over this part of the Middle East. Oh, we're to have a kind of base out there. Let's plant a bomb in our base and blame it on the Middle East.
Hell yeah,
and that happens all. That's
what I'm saying, man. They have all these like just in case type bases, like military bases.
We do have a lot.
Just in cases, just in case we want to start some shit.
Yeah,
in case we want, even if we're gonna make it up.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
And that's beside the point. Like this is not conspiracy theory podcast.
Oh no.
But what is true? This is what's true. All those military guys are out there, and some of them are doing it because they love the United States. Some of them are doing it because they're whatever, they believe in the military. But I feel like a lot of them are there because they didn't know what else to do. They were like, they're black guys, they're Mexican guys, they're fucking white trash guys, like people that weren't well educated, don't come from good families, and they didn't have a lot of other options. The United States took advantage of that and threw them out there. But a lot of them took advantage of the situation, became great men, became leaders, started a family, saved their money, and did it right. Then a lot of motherfuckers fucked it up and went out there, went AWOL, partied, fucking just going out there to kill chinky-eyed people, pardon my fucking derogatory term. But I promise you, it's just like everything else in the world, that it's just like a weed-out system. Like, there's going to be a lot of fucking losers and a few winners that come out of it. And at the end of my whole experience in Korea was that the United States is probably the best country in the world because we actually like have freedom here. It's like a different level of freedom. Like we have freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of like aggression, and
and we really, really do have that freedom. I just found out about like the page for journalists, like the national page for open free speech for journalists, and like I was looking up the death count of journalists per country, and America's not even on the top 20. That's how good our freedom of speech is. Mexico in the last 10 years has moved from 15 to number 2.
Wow.
So they just started murking in the last 10 years. They're journalists that are opposing their government.
That's fucked up.
You're completely right. I believe 100% that America is the most freest country, and just like George Carlin said, I would rather not be born in any other fucking country.
Hell yeah, dude. I just felt as extremely lucky, but that age 25 to 30 is big for probably everybody, but especially for a man, in my opinion, and especially a man like myself who's ambitious, right? Like I don't want to wait till I'm dead to figure shit out. Like I'm trying to figure shit out today, right? And that's what's really frustrating, right? But I feel like that's what like a lot of comedians are like that. Probably a lot of artists and just smart people in general, and people who like challenging themselves for whatever reason. People challenge. Like I've gone through all kinds of shit, but like if you say you're like a gamer, right? And there was a time when people had no respect for gamers, but now gamers could be celebrities. They could be low key millionaires.
They are celebrities, and they are high key millionaires. Which is crazy.
I learned that in Korea too, man. They had video game channels, a channel on TV where you just watch a dude play a game.
Bro, I grew up watching competitive StarCraft.
I
watched
StarCraft.
the Korean.
StarCraft.
I watched Korean. I knew about like I forget their names now, man.
Yeah, but those stars.
There was
like Ninja or something, right? There was some dude named Ninja, wasn't there?
Probably, man.
Probably.
Oh, the best one of all. Well, not the best one, but like the OG his name was Boxer.
No.
The thing about him was that he had to stop his career in StarCraft being the top of the world in Korea because he had to do his 2 years
military service.
And that's what gets a lot of the guys that are playing high level StarCraft.
They have to go into the military service.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, but then he invented like the first military StarCraft like group in Korea.
No shit.
Yeah,
smart dude. See, fucking smart people. Yeah. But I learned that out there too. That they have the PC Bang. PC Bang is a computer room. And they just have 24-hour computer rooms where dudes would just be in there. And we were talking all age ranges, whatever to whatever, playing StarCraft, and I hadn't even heard of it. I never heard of it. 2009 when I was out there, and I was like, "What the fuck is StarCraft?" But it's such a big part of their culture. And then I just like
huge part of their culture.
Man, once I saw, like, I didn't care at all, but I do care about, like, say like people are talking, gossip, don't care. But then I see a statistic that like almost 100% of the top gamers are Korean, and it's like almost 100%, like almost 100% of anything being one culture is like, okay, they're on to something. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Lack of sleep is one of them. These fuckers don't sleep. That's one thing I don't know about. Maybe it's all Asians, but it's possible that they don't need sleep like I do. Not like me.
Do you think that's like inherent in their DNA, or is it just culture that's made them that way? Because I feel like some Mexicans are like that too. Because like for example, my dad would be like he'd be up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's true.
To work every day from like 5 years old till he fucking left. So I feel like that's ingrained in his culture now because he still barely got any sleep. Because he'd work 12-hour shifts, so it'd be from 4 to 4, 6 to 6. So then after that, you play soccer a little bit, you eat, and then you basically have to do the routine. But I feel like even though he has those genetics, I'm a piece of shit. Like I can't do that. I'm like,
I know what you mean.
I'm not a piece of shit. I just need more rest.
Sure,
I'm just more.
Well, I feel like two things. Like it is cultural because, and then it's also personality. But I think it is cultural. Like in Korean culture. Korean culture, it is like very work ethic heavy, and same thing in Mexican culture. Like you get up and go to work, you provide for your family, you take care, you get up and
strong centralized.
You got to get up early, you got to go to bed late, and even if your babies are crying, you still got to go to work in the morning, right? And my dad is like that too. My dad says he only needs 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, I need like 6 to 8 for sure, hopefully 10, but 6 to 8 at least.
At least 6. Even after 6, you're like, man, this is a motherfucker.
But now I'm like, I don't know. As you get older, it changes. My dad had 6 kids by the time he was 30, right?
Damn.
I'm 35. No, it's 36. I'm 36. I have no kids. I have a stepson, but he's 19. So it's not. I don't have any babies. I never had a baby. But for my dad, like his sleep thing, I'm sure it has to do with the necessity to get up and go to work because you have 6 kids.
Yeah.
You and I don't have the same necessity. We have the luxury of rest.
And thank God, because our parents worked hard as fuck so we can have this luxury.
And I saw my mom work her ass off. My mom was a single mom because my parents divorced, so my mom's a single mom, and work her ass off her whole life and always be like in a bad mood. So I'm like, I don't want that. Like fuck that. Like I see hard work gets you so far, but hard work and like what's just toiling, where you're just like working, sweating, that's not for me. Yeah. Like I gotta enjoy my work. Like I'll do this podcast. I'm not getting paid for this. You know what I mean? I could be resting on the couch. I could be taking a nap. I could be eating food. I could be cuddling with my wife. But I like working. I'm not lazy. But I don't like being forced to do shit that I don't want to do. And if that means waking up early to go do some shit I don't want to do, I have very little motivation.
Very little motivation, man. That's why it's been hard for me to hold down a job. No, not really. I'm a piece of shit. That's why.
No, both.
But it definitely, like, after so many years of doing comedy, it's definitely, like, I've proven to my folks, like, look, I don't really like having a 9 to 5. Nobody does, right? But that's why they also say go to school so I can have a better 9 to 5, right?
Right, like me.
So I need to just fucking graduate.
I agree.
And like,
well, you go to school, man. You're not. Right?
No, I got this semester and 3 more classes, and then I'm finally fucking done, and I got my bachelor's.
Yeah, man. As a teacher, I believe in education, but it has to be for you, right? You can't be doing it for your family. You can't be doing it for money. You can't be doing it for none of that because it doesn't guarantee that. All it guarantees is that you're more qualified than somebody who is uneducated. And then from there, it's just like you got to take it from there. It's like comedy. Just because you're funny, it's not enough. It's not enough. You have to prove
enough, man. Really
what it is proving to other people that care that they can work with you and that they're not going to regret working with you. That's what a big part of it is. Like, okay, I can do this, you can do this, but I want to do what that guy's doing. What does he see? He sees the work ethic. It's like, yeah, everybody's funny. Everybody's funny. Everybody can do this. Everybody can do that. But who's going to be doing it even when it's difficult, when things are not going your way and when life is hard and when you didn't get the thing you wanted to get, are you going to keep pushing forward? And there's no way to know until you watch a motherfucker for a long time. You just got to watch them and watch the roller coaster and see what happens. And I love it, man. I love it. I've been doing comedy so fucking long that I know there's going to be people who drop off. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna drop off.
You didn't even know. Like you've seen
Yeah.
people drop. I've been in this shit for years, and I've already seen people drop off left and right.
It's
And
crazy.
these are people that I thought like in my first year in, like, wow, they're gonna really make it, and we're gonna be on the same journey together. We're both like around the same time of like comedy and into this game, and then you see them drop off, and then I used to really, really believe in my heart that anybody can be a comedian. Anybody can practice hard enough, go to open mics, fucking write hard enough, and be a motherfucker, right? And then I met a really good guy. He did all of that, and he fucking got worse. And I was like, holy shit.
It's not for
Life
everybody.
is not fair. It's not for everybody too. Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
thing you have to realize as an adult.
No, but a big part of it is like, I mean,
That's fucked up to realize, man.
I believe in destiny and shit like that. And not everybody's meant for the stand-up comic thing, like that one thing. Stand-up comic is one thing. It's very limited, right? So it's like for few people. You know, like I saw shout out Dan Nolan last night at the Echoes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this dude in a while, and I think he's
Bro.
so funny. Like he's one of like my favorite comics to watch and hear tell jokes because he's really good. And I saw him yesterday, and I saw him get on stage, and he's kind of like us. It's an open mic, he kind of just like going through the motions. And then he hit a punchline, and we all died. And then he perked up, and then he had energy, and then he had a smile on his face, and then the rest of his set was better.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, in my opinion, that's the kind of guy that's gonna make it. The kind of guy that's motivated by the laughter, not the money, because he was there by himself.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
he was like, he's just there. He wrote the joke. He wanted to tell it. He opened with the one that worked, so he knows what he's doing. So it seemed like he was going through the motions, but in reality, he's a master. He's fucking good at this.
Yeah,
and
he's
I'm
been
like,
good
man,
for years.
yeah,
bro.
no shit. So I'm like, if he just keeps doing this, one of these days, it's not going to be me in this seat. It's going to be somebody with power, somebody with influence, and they're going to be like, I want that dude for this fucking thing. And it might not be stand-up, right? It might be something else.
Yeah, it might be a movie role, it might be like a TV role,
Right? Or
might be-
writer,
or host
fucking
for
something. Rewriter, fucking punch-up comic, maybe
Yeah,
whatever, dude. You
a
never know
warm-up comic.
who's gonna pop into Echoes on Pico on a random night. You know, I was there randomly. I'd never been there before. How long have I been back? 7 months now. Never been there. Popped in randomly.
That was your first night at Pico's?
First time.
Wow, bro. That was only my fourth night, but I've been the last 3 times in the last span of like a month and a half.
It's nice.
Yeah, I
like
used
it.
to not fuck with Pico's for like a little
Why?
minute. Because I just didn't fuck with any spot that charged any money. And then I
yeah.
started realizing that, like, wow, look at all these other bullshit spots that are not only charging you, but not giving you a drink at least. And they're forcing you to stay inside. So then that's like 3 levels of bullshit
Sure.
as opposed to like, oh, Pico's is fucking giving me not
Time, a drink.
Time, like, yo, if you go into Pico's, man, shout out to Pico's, man. Yo, you can ask for a fucking tequila. He's like, yo, the tequila comes with a Tecate. So I've been getting like every time I go in there, he gives
That's
me
how
a
it
shot
used-
of fucking tequila, and then I get a Tecate after. I'm like,
That's how
yo,
it used to be when he was
that's
on
amazing.
Echoes Under Sunset.
really?
It used to be a shot on a beer for $5.
Oh, that's the shit,
Hell yeah, dude.
bro. That's right.
That
up
was
my
one,
alley.
dude. That's Christian. Christian at Echoes Under Pico, Echoes Under Sunset or Echoes on Pico and Echoes Under Sunset back in the day in Echo Park. Man, it was like my favorite mic. I used to go there with Caesar. That's where I met Tony Bartoloni. I met a bunch of people there, but it was like a shitty mic where everybody would go out and hang out outside while you were on stage. You know what I mean? You do your set and then you go outside and kick it. And while you're performing, you're just like in front of the dude who's on deck and the host. So it was like, whatever, you're working on material, but most of it's like a hangout. But because of the shot and the beer, the vibe was nice.
So cool.
And you would have a lot of drop-ins, like people that were really funny, or like your friends, and not like goon chat friends, like people that you like to see because you hardly ever see them, but you respect them mostly because they're funny. You don't really know them.
Yeah.
That was a good show for that. Whereas like really funny people will come there just to work on material.
I wish I was drinking back when I went to Echoes Under Sunset
Oh, you've been there?
3.5 years ago.
Oh shit.
Bro, because I wasn't drinking back then, man. So like I went in there and they were like, yo, it's $5. And I was like, man, I don't want to pay $5 just for water. And then I never did that spot. But
Oh,
also
shit.
I was like super reserved back when I started comedy.
You were quiet.
I was super shitty too, man.
Shit.
I was fucking terrible, bro. Like, of
Oh, you
course-
mean shitty comic? I thought you meant
Yeah.
you were like hating.
No, I wasn't hating at all, bro. I respected all you
Yeah,
guys,
you
man,
did.
'cause
You
I
were
came in
super
as
cool.
a fan.
You
so-
came in with like a notebook, like telling me I was funny, and
Yeah.
I didn't know. You know, I never try to assume, but I remember you just sitting in the back, and I didn't know like has he been here longer than me? Or have I been here longer than him? I don't know, because I never noticed you before a certain period.
Man.
You know what I mean?
I just thought, like, man.
You just started showing up.
Yeah, I just started showing up, bro. I just like, yo, man, I got this fake ID. I've already been coming to the comedy store as a regular for roast battle just to see the roast.
Sure.
And then for one of the roast battles, they used to have the open mic before.
Right,
I'm sure
show
you remember.
Go Up.
Yeah. No.
Open mic.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know it was called Show Go. That's how new I was to the whole scene.
No shit.
I just saw a bucket. They were like, yo, sign up. And then I was like, oh, my God, I got this one bit. I was working at Pizza Hut at the time. I was 20 years old. And I was like, yo, man, if I get up, I'm going to do this bit. I didn't get up. But in my mind,
I don't
that
think
was
I
a
ever
big
saw you
accomplishment.
go up. You were just kicking it in the back.
I would always,
maybe you did eventually.
I got up
can't remember.
towards the end of like Show
That
Go Up.
shit,
Like, once I
before it
already
ended.
started getting people to know my name and all that shit. Because it's all, I always said this about Show Go Up when I started comedy. It's a shitty open mic.
Hell yeah.
It's a great show though.
Hell yeah.
And then
It's
later,
fun.
fun. And then later on, it became a good open mic because I started getting up. But it's only because they started rigging me up because all buckets are bullshit.
Sure. I never had a good set there. Maybe like once or something. Like, but it was always just like me up there feeling bad about myself. It's like, how come? Because I would be like, this show sucks, and then somebody else would do well, and I'd be like, fuck, it's just me.
I never try to blame the show,
Yeah.
like, unless like I'm performing against, I don't know, to like fucking the KKK and
Sure,
Royal
nah,
Hoods. I'm like,
fuck
yeah,
that.
Fanspeed 3 is not gonna work here.
Nah. No, man, that show was humbling, where I would be like, I would really have this joke or a bit or a set or whatever that I really thought was good, and then it would get either like a mediocre response or no response, or like, what would happen to me is they would laugh at a part where I wasn't intending the laugh to come, and it would just throw me off, and I'd be like, how's that the funny part? But you didn't laugh at this part where I wanted you to laugh. So that show, and then Eric Marino, being the asshole he is, would always call me out, and he'd be like, one time he told me, he was like, you know what I like about you, Escobedo? You refuse to let the people, he would say, what? You would refuse to let the lack of laughter stop you from telling the joke you intended to tell.
What a piece of shit.
And I'm like, well, he's not wrong.
No,
like,
he's not at all.
Like, I'm going to power through the crickets and tell my punchline anyway, because I think, because in my, stupid ego mind, that if you just hear me out, you'll laugh. But they don't, like, if they don't like your premise, they're not going to like your punchline. You know what I mean? That's just how jokes work.
Yeah, but at least one thing that I have learned, that even if you think they might not like your premise because they haven't responded to the premise, don't give up on it yet.
For sure.
Because remember this, they are always listening.
Yeah,
So if you
might
really
get 'em.
fucking believe in
might
your
get 'em.
punchline, you fucking might get them.
That's my problem. I always believe in the miracle, because it's happened so many times.
You're supposed to always believe in the miracle, man.
That's what makes
the only
us-
way. That's the only way you're gonna truly know if that joke works or not.
Right.
Because if you put 110% behind it,
Yeah.
if not, you're just like not even.
So Marino
seeing it.
was like low key actually giving me a compliment. He
Yeah,
was
he
like,
was-
I like that even though no one's listening to you, you powered through and told your punchline. And it's like, hell yeah.
You're really
And then-
trying to like dig deep. And
But
find
it's like a OCD thing. Like, I need to. Like, I gotta get this punchline out. Fuck you guys.
Marino was
yeah.
a dick to me, bro, man.
Yeah.
Well, in the beginning, man, I fucking he kicked me off stage like 2 times before I was like, they had the joke challenge where you not the joke, the text challenge. The text challenge, you could text something funny. So I texted like my first time at the comedy store for Show Go Up. I texted like, yo, I'm the Bandito Bandit or some shit, and I'm trying to find. I'm like Fat Dick McGee, and I'm trying to find the Bandito Bandit. Some stupid shit, right? Basically, I get up for the last joke part though at the end, and I'm like, wow, this is my first time behind a mic. So my dumbass doesn't even use the mic, but I still say like, oh, I do a callback to because you know how he would read the shit off of his phone. So he read my Bandito shit, and I'll be like, yo, I'm the fat ass Bandito Bandit, whatever. And then one dude laughed, and I'm gonna remember his face for the rest of my life, bro, because I remember that was the first laugh I ever got on stage. And I looked at his face, and then I heard Marino say, use a fucking microphone. All right, get the fuck out the stage.
A high and a low.
I was like, wow, am I like that? Fucked me up so bad because I went up to my car thinking like, am I a comedian now? Like, it's so weird. I didn't use a mic. I got a laugh though, but then he told me to get the fuck up. Like, it's so weird.
It's kind of very comedy. That's pretty comedy right there.
Yeah, low key, man.
Yeah.
I went back the next week. Still, like, this is a week before I turned 21 now. And
No shit. That's crazy. You did look young as fuck too. I can like sort of picture.
I was not supposed to be in there, bro.
Yeah, dude. I can picture you right now in those moments, and me thinking to myself like you were a student, Like that's how it appeared to me. Like you were like a student, you were like studying, you were kind of observing a lot. Because I remember like
super observing.
There was some period of time where you went from not talking to talking, right? Like where I didn't talk to you and then I did talk to you, and I don't even remember if you were out back in the stairs smoking with us.
That's the thing I fucked up on, man. I was so timid and shy and shitty at comedy that I felt like I always saw you guys smoking weed back there. I've been smoking weed forever, right? And I've never stopped smoking weed. So like I fucking saw you guys smoking in the back patio, man. Be you, fucking Jesus all the time, Caesar
and Darren and Caesar and Kenny.
You guys always be back there, man. I'll be like, man,
and Victor.
Yeah. I only saw Victor once or twice.
Really? When Victor is one of my first friends. Victor and Caesar were like my first friends.
That's crazy.
And
bro.
Darren and Eric.
Isn't
that crazy?
I know that they were like even tighter friends 4 years later. That's
what I was telling
insane.
Niles and Arthur. Like, man, I got so lucky with the people I made friends with, and it was all because of Caesar. All because of Caesar. I met Caesar first, and then I met everybody through Caesar.
Bro, what's crazy is Caesar was there during my second set ever, bro. Right now, currently for the fans that are listening, Albert's cat was trying to get at his beautiful lizard.
The cat is obsessed with the crickets that I put in there. She stares at them. She wants to get at them. And when my wife isn't home, I'll put crickets in the middle of the floor and let my cat kill them and eat them.
Ooh, that's awesome. Crazy, bro. That's
my cat
crazy.
will
like super agile.
My cat is such a killer. I call her the killer. She's the killer.
You know what's crazy? We have something in common. Well, I don't eat, like your cat likes to like kill grasshoppers and eat them, right? Well, I like to eat crickets.
Really?
You've never eaten crickets?
I have, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Champolines in Spanish? Oh, my God, bro. That shit is so good, bro.
No, dude. I haven't eaten them like in a meal. Oh, that battery's about to die. I've been eating them just like when I was in school, they had like a bug day and they would like have chocolate covered crickets and shit like that.
No, I never had chocolate covered crickets.
I'm going to get the charger of that real quick. But I did. In the meantime, you could cover some time while I go over there. So, you know, Pet Peeves Podcast, you were originally on my guest radar because you are the only friend of mine that's brought a pet to my college to get it checked out. So your dog's name, don't tell me. It's Tamale or Enchilada.
Exactly, Tamale.
It is Tamale?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, shit, I was right the first time.
Yeah, you hit it.
That's hilarious. I was like, it's either Tamale or Enchilada. It's one of those. And I can't remember. Oh, the dog was vomiting, right? And not eating or something like that?
Yeah, my dog wasn't eating. Well,
Okay, you got to fill us in. Tell us about your dog. Tell us what happened. I'll be back.
All right, cool. So my mom and my sister go to Mexico for December, and my dad is alone taking care of my sister's dog. The family's dog, but really we got it from my sister. So long story short, I'm having to help my dad every day take care of my dog, the family's dog, because it starts to vomit and not eat for like 3 days. So then I'm like, yo, you know what, Dad? I'll take care of this. Let me hit up my homie Albert Escobedo, man. I've known him forever. He's a veterinarian. He's a badass motherfucker. He teaches. Nah, he's better than veterinarian. He's an instructor, man. He teaches these motherfuckers who go on to be motherfuckers in the field of the veterinary field. So that's how badass Albert is. And he's like, no way, bro. I'm like, yeah. He's like, how you know him? Comedy. Comedy is beautiful. There you go. So I take my dog Multipoo. Well, she's a Multipoo. Her name is Tamale. My sister named her May, but I like saying Tamale. So I take her with my dad to Albert's class. Like I feel like, I'm sorry, bro. I interrupted you mid lecture, bro. You were like, "What? You man? You look so regal, bro. Like, you look so cool, man." Anytime, like seeing a homie do anything outside of comedy is cool, but like to see them be a teacher and a professional is super commendable, and I respect you so much for that. It was so cool to see that.
I appreciate it. And
I respect you so much, and I thank you so much for taking time out of teaching your class to come check my dog in your laboratory that you have right next door of your classroom, which is cool as fuck.
Hell yeah.
And
it's legit.
Yeah, Albert.
No, it was awesome to see you, but you know, it's like to me very simple. I just like to help animals. It's very simple, and the whole class is because I know those students also have the same goal. They want to help animals, so it's easy for me to stay motivated. So when somebody, a friend of mine, real friend of mine, wants some help, like of course, it's like for most of my life. When I help people with their pets, it's somebody I don't know. It's some stranger. They come into the hospital. I help them. And I use equal amount of effort, equal amount of what would I say, like genuine care to help their pets as I would a friend. But I don't ever get to see them later. You know, they're just like gone. They bring their pet, I help their pet, they tell me thank you, then they're fucking gone.
Yeah.
So if a friend wants help, it's like, hell yeah, like that's more motivation for me to at least like know that I can educate you properly. Like say somebody I don't know, maybe I would say more than half of what I say is in ear, one ear out the other. They're just not gonna retain the information. But if you and I have a previous relationship, when I tell you something, you're not worried about my agenda. You know, I'm not making money off of it. You know, I'm not trying to like, you know, make you feel bad or make you feel good. I'm just trying to teach you. So it's like, it's preferable. Like when I'm in those situations, like to help somebody I actually know than to say to charge a stranger money to help them. I don't really like that because they don't learn anything from it. When you charge somebody money, they just like expect a service again later. But if you teach them how to prevent the problem, then they actually appreciate you in a way that money can't compare to. And in a way that you know that even if, you know, it's too late for this pet, they'll be more educated for their future pet. And most people will always get another pet. And that's the way I see it. So when you came, it helped me in a lot of ways. Number one, it let me help a friend. Number two, it helped me help an animal. Number three, it helped my students see that I have a life outside of class. Number four, helped you see I have a life outside of comedy. And then it let my students also see that I can have those worlds collide in a way that I can maintain my professionalism because I feel like them being the mostly Latino group that they are, they don't have a lot of like real life role models of someone who's been through what they've been through, like divorced parents and grew up in poverty and grew up in a shitty neighborhood of mostly other minorities where there was a lot of gang violence and nobody could find good jobs. But, you know, I went to school and I had a, you know, blah, 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 went through my little struggles. So then I tell them my stories and they can kind of grasp, right? They could kind of see me as a real person. But then you come in and you're young and you're not me and, you know, and you're still brown. So, you know what I mean? And your dad doesn't speak English. So they know that like, I'm not, because I feel like a lot of them think that I'm like whitewashed, right? They think I'm like white Mexican. And I don't give a fuck because they're wrong. Like, they don't know. They don't know my family. They don't know my mom. They don't know my dad. They don't know shit.
If you're looking for a reference for whitewash, Victor Martinez.
But even him, at least him, like even him, like I can hang out with Victor and know like it's not the same. You know, he's not white. You know, even if whatever you want to say about the way he does anything, he's still not fucking white. His last name's Martinez. He's from fucking Texas.
I know Texas.
Yeah, dude, he's fucking Mexican. He's fucking Tejano. And even whatever. So I like that. I like that you came and the students like instantly, there's like a different light shown on me, which is important for teaching. That they could relate to me because the longer I talk, the more we can't relate. The more I talk, the more we can't relate because I'm just way more educated than them. It's just impossible for them to compare themselves to me without making themselves feel bad because they're not where I was at their age. So it's like, you know, when someone tells you like, oh, Louis C.K. didn't become famous till he was 45. But you're like, yeah, but he was writing for TV when he was 20. So that's like when I tell a student, you could be a doctor someday, but they're already 20. By the time I was 20, I already had an associate's degree and I'm not a doctor. You know what I mean? So it's like, they know there's a disconnect. Like, yeah, it's possible, but it's pretty impossible. Like, I can't compare myself to Dave Chappelle. I can't compare myself to, you know, Louis C.K., these guys that already had their shit together by the time they were my age. They were already fucking successful comedians. So it's just like that. It's exactly the same. Not for them to be discouraged, because a few of them might do more than me one day, but it's just highly unlikely, right? It's very highly unlikely.
That's fucked up, but
man, it just is what it is. It's like, it's just what it is. And I tell them that. You think I don't tell them that? I fucking tell them that. Because that's what was told to me. When I first went into vet school, originally I wanted to be a doctor. I went to vet school. I got accepted into the pre-veterinary program. I was a biology major. I went to all the pre-vet courses, but I couldn't handle the responsibility. I was late to class. I was oversleeping. I was not doing my homework. I wasn't reading the chapter, like little things like that.
So you didn't really want to be a veterinarian?
No, I did, but I started doing comedy pretty soon, and then I decided I wanted to be a comedian, and then I abandoned my doctor dreams.
Damn, yeah.
But I don't regret it.
It's that thing about like what your trajectory was like, man, because comedy is such a big motherfucker to take on, especially as a beginner comedian, that you have to almost give up your whole life to really give a fuck about comedy enough to want to get better.
Hell yeah, you have to learn about it. You have to take on a new education, and I'm glad that I did. It was a 10-year journey. Like 10 years was me learning about comedy, but in that 10 years, like the internet helped, which wasn't in the first half. The first 5 years of my comedy career, there wasn't.
That was the dark ages compared to like the dark ages are before the Bureau, bro.
Yeah,
which is crazy because then if you look 5 years ago for the Bureau, if you look 2012. Man, that shit was next to non-existent, damn near.
Right. No, it was skeleton, bones.
There's like maybe 2 mics on there, Now there's 60.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we but it's almost like it evolved faster than I could, So it's like, so whatever. My circle back to the idea was about you bringing your dog with your dad and my students. Like it really gave me another level of respect with them, that they see that I'm willing to help people, a friend. A Mexican, a non-English speaking Mexican, because they saw that you had to translate for me and that I didn't like lose a beat, that I could still help them. Like I'm so good at this that I don't need to speak the same language as you. I know enough about dogs that you don't have to say shit. Just point at your animal and I'll fucking be able to help you. Maybe not solve the problem, but I can help you.
No, yeah.
Yeah, and that's all you guys were able to see, and I'm glad I could help. But your dog. Yeah, the real issue with your dog was that it was not eating and vomiting, right?
So she probably had like, from what I know, maybe she might have eaten something terrible on the street, and it just fucked up her immune system. As happens to me, because I ate some, a couple nights ago, I ate some Carl's Jr. Guess what? Next day I woke up fucking like a fucking water fountain in my asshole, and it happens. What I'm saying? Look,
that's something I thought about. Go ahead.
It happens. Like how can I blame my dog when she found something delicious for free when I went out my way to drive,
spend your hard-earned money,
spend hard-earned money to fucking get myself diarrhea. So I understand. Like it's all right for my dog to get like a little sick for that moment, only because but it's not really because it's our fucking fault for not making sure what the fuck we're. So like in the end of the day, it's my fault. So I really appreciate you because like she got better and I learned much more to be like, take her away from that strange thing she's starting to sniff. Because like in a second she might eat it,
right.
And then after she eats it, like in the second that it'll take for me to like go down to get it out of her mouth, she's already fucking
wolfed it down.
And it's like, oh shit. So now
you got a week-long problem to fucking deal with.
Yeah,
and a $300 doctor bill.
I know we paid like $200 for the X-ray. Thank you for recommending that spot.
Yeah, that was cool too. You got to meet a past student, right?
That was the craziest part because I told the X-ray person like, I got recommended by my friend. He teaches over at the college, down here, and she's like, is his name Albert? And I'm like, yeah, how do you know the homie? She's like, oh, he was my instructor. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, dude, I'm changing the whole fucking veterinary landscape over there in Huntington Park area.
Changing the game, bro.
It's crazy. I went to a hospital and 3 of the people working there were my students. And I was like, that's crazy.
Damn, that's how good your students are, bro.
Yeah, I was like, you all got jobs.
Yeah, doing something with it, bro.
And I see them running around and I'm like, hell yeah, that's what I told you you'd be doing.
Yeah,
running around, like, and that's exactly what you need to be doing. But then you'll get out of it. Like, it's just like your living situation. You need to experience shit you don't like to know that you need to do something to get yourself out of it. And it's all, dude, I tell my students that all the time. It's just all relative. Like you think one thing until something happens and then you think a different thing. And you guys like can't be too married to these situations, but they just need to stick with it. I mean, veterinary medicine, it's like the situation with your dog, it's simple. Helping people realize like what you accepted that it's their fault. Like when something goes wrong with their pet, lack of planning or lack of supervision or neglect or lack of knowledge. Most of the time they didn't do the proper research for their breed or just their situation in general, or their life changed and they didn't plan for that. So it's like,
honestly, I should have known something was gonna happen to my dog because like, damn, my dad can barely take care of himself.
Yeah, well, that's just it. People are flawed, so how do you expect them to like never make mistakes when it comes? People fuck up with their kids. You don't think they're gonna fuck up with their pets?
No,
hell yeah, they are.
But like, damn, man, like I just like sometimes you're like, man, I don't know, man, I just want to like take care of them a little more because I guess like I guess like as somebody that I don't live with my parents no more, but like when I was there, man. I just want like something different to happen with the way we take care of our dog, but it's so hard to change with just me and like with the rest of the family being like, nah, it's fine, As in terms like, well, we need to take her out more. We need to have a schedule for her.
Yeah.
We should have boundaries so she can't come into the kitchen, not
like
eat
that.
shit off the floor.
You already know.
But they're like, yo, you're being too strict now, and I'm like, but this strictness goes a long way in the end.
Hell yeah, it prevents problems in the future.
It prevents problems like this.
It's just like raising a kid, but it's the only difference is like a kid will at some point have their own free will. The dog will never will, and a dog is trainable in a way that a kid isn't. Like if you never let your dog in the kitchen, your dog won't go in the kitchen. If you never feed your dog from the table, your dog won't beg at the table.
Yeah.
If you never let your dog on the bed, it'll never try to sleep in the bed. If you never let your dog on the couch, it will never jump on the couch. But you let it, and then you get mad at it for it, and now your dog's fucking confused. All right?
You can't confuse your dogs.
And then the thing is, like, there's 5 people in the house, 2 people in the house, 3 people in the house. One person lets the dog on the bed, the other person doesn't. One person feeds the dog from the table, the other person doesn't. Now your dog doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So it's about consistency, and it's really simple if you have, like, everybody in the house under agreement. And I've given these dog training speeches so many times, and what it is in the very beginning, you all need to agree on what is and what is not acceptable, and make a list that you put on the refrigerator that nobody violates. And then when your dog is an adult, older,
they already know.
They don't ever fuck around. And that's the point, that you have an adult dog that you don't have to be mad at ever. It just knows what's up. And it's not undoable, but it takes education, because people it's not that many generations away. Maybe we are a generation away from, like, dogs are not equal to people, but now we're in a generation where it's like they're pretty fucking close. They're getting close.
People love their dogs, man.
Yeah, they went from pets to fur babies in like a 10-year period. I never heard the term fur baby. Have you heard this?
I've just heard it right now.
Today, right now?
Yeah, that's
no
crazy,
shit,
bro.
Dude. This came out in like the last, I don't know, like 7 years, fur baby. And it's like spreading like wildflower, man. Wildfire. People really are attaching themselves to their animals in a way that as a child, I can identify with. But now, like, with a lot of experience in animal medicine, I see it going in a wrong direction. Like, you shouldn't treat your dog like a kid. Like, that doesn't make sense.
That's true.
You should treat your kid like a human and your dog like a dog. Like, that's how it should be.
Growing up, my mom always had like this funny thing she would say about our neighbor. I was like, she always would scream at her daughter, but talking the sweetest voice to their new dog. And it's like, she has the shit backwards.
Yeah, but people have no patience for humans, and they have a lot of patience for animals. Like, I've seen it 1,000 times. If you saw a homeless man laying on the sidewalk dying, you'd step over him. But if you saw a dog on the sidewalk dying, you'd pick it up and help it. You might not, your deadbeat brother might need to borrow $5. You're not going to give it to him. But you see a fucking dog that needs a donation, $5 for a meal, you would do it. And
because
she just had a mouthful of she did.
What happened to her? She's so cute.
She's in trouble. She knows it.
She's in trouble. She's over here trying to hide with me. Nah, get away from me now. Wow, that's so funny. She hid behind Albert.
You better. She knows. You better. All right, well, we got to start wrapping this up because it's already almost 9:30. So the Pet Peeves Podcast doesn't have any segments, but it does have a question. How do you feel about eating animals? Do you feel like it's morally wrong to eat animals?
I don't think it's morally wrong to eat animals. I think it's morally wrong to perpetuate the system of killing and murdering animals the way we do for our commercialized buying.
Did you listen to the last podcast with Niles?
No.
This is exactly what we talked about. So my opinion is it is wrong to eat animals, so we should do it as little as possible, right? Maybe we need it for the nutrition. There's a lot of people in the world that have no other sources of protein. And I understand that. But since I think killing is wrong, like we have to kill fruits and vegetables, I get that, plants, and kill animals for certain nutrition. So we should like respect the shit out of it. You know what I mean?
The Native Americans, like
we should feel bad. Yeah, we should give back.
We should respect every time we eat a chicken wing. Respect the chicken that dies, so you can fucking
we should appreciate it. Their sacrifice, like the guilt doesn't. It's not a negative guilt. It's an appreciation. It's like and of course, a large system farming, like you said, that large system agriculture is fucked up, super fucked up. But we participate. I eat bacon. I eat fucking bologna.
I go to Denny's.
I went to Denny's today.
But today, like we can all start by making healthy choices.
Right.
Like today, I had a vegan hot dog.
Hey, there you go. See?
When I'm at school and they have pizza day and I'm lucky to pass by, I'll be like, let me get the vegan slice.
Hell yeah.
Because like it all starts with like just small changes in everybody's diet. Like
you don't have to completely change your diet. Just make an improvement. This is
make an improvement that day.
This is like adult shit, dude. You don't have to be perfect, but you could be better, right? Excuse me. You don't have to change everything, but you can participate in the improvement, right? Like that's real shit.
Like if you go vegan and you're like, oh yeah, I'm better than the rest of you meat eaters and I'm morally superior. No, you're fucking not.
No.
But if you're like somebody that maybe eats meat every once in a while and then advocates for the ending of killing cows the way we do and treating chicken better,
yeah.
then you can fucking feel morally superior because you're actually doing something.
You're actually trying to help.
But most of you vegan cocksuckers, y'all just fucking are unhealthy, eating French fries all day.
Bread,
so y'all can go
donuts.
Yeah,
and
go
shit.
fuck yourselves. You guys don't know about diet or exercise or any of that shit. That's why you guys
not
went
morally
vegan.
superior.
Like if you go vegan and you lost 20 pounds, boo-hoo, good for you, bro. It doesn't mean you fucking helping the environment or like cows or chickens. No, you lost 20 pounds and now everybody has to get a fucking ear beating because you lost 20 pounds. The point is, if you're gonna go vegan, man, I respect you. I respect so much. I respect you so much because you're killing nothing really. But then let's think about it too, man. In the book that came out in the 70s about fucking plants are alive. They're sentient beings.
I think about that all the time.
In the forest, when like there's a predator, one plant will let off a scent to another plant, a homie plant, and they'll fucking camouflage.
Oh yeah.
That means they're fucking alive. So when we trim
if you're
spinach,
gonna tell me that,
we're killing plants too.
If you're gonna tell me a plant is not alive, you're fucking crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah, because it just by the way it grows too. It goes from a seed to a person, basically, if we're being honest.
With arms and hair and fucking
and then today,
skin.
For your fans, I learned today the best roses come from Ecuador because they're closer by the equator. If you ever get a rose and then maybe a few days later it wilts because you can grow roses everywhere, but if you get one that wilts after a few days, it wasn't grown in closer to Ecuador because Ecuador has more sunlight because they're closer to the equator. So that way you have those strong thick stem roses that last for a long time.
That's what we need.
And those are the best roses.
Those are Valentine's Day flowers over there. All the roses are dead. There's just some, what are those ones that are alive called? Tulips? I don't know.
Yeah, no, those are good. Those are good. You see how the tulips have a stronger branch, like a stronger thick, as opposed to the rose.
Right.
The rose, but imagine if the rose had like a fucking
big thick stem.
It would last. It would look as as this is all shit.
No, I like that shit. It's alive.
And I just think it's super. I just think it's interesting.
Hell yeah, I think that.
But they're alive. They're super alive.
When I look at a tree, it's a similar emotion than when I'm looking at like a horse. Just like this beautiful creation. Like this thing that's alive, that is breathing and eating and participating and sees more than me. A tree sees way more than I do. A tree's life is like
it's like 500 years.
Dude, it's crazy compared to mine. Like my life is seemingly insignificant compared to like a tree that's 200 years old or whatever, and seeing when the area changed. I don't see shit. Yeah. And then I look at like a horse and I'm like, man, I could never be so majestic and large and fucking fur and the fucking speed and the power and all that. And I see the same thing when I look at a cow. I'm like, Jesus Christ, a elephant, fucking giraffe. Like, how the fuck? I don't understand how we can feel so superior all the time. When I look at, even like you said, a fucking rose, a flower, a bee, it's like I don't feel like that superior to them. I feel like there's a difference. I have some significant advantages in my ability and talents and shit, but I don't like killing bugs. I don't like, unless a mosquito bites me, I don't really got no beef,
Man, if we're being honest, man, I'm probably going to go down in history as like the cockroach genocider. Oh my God, bro. Shit. Like when I started comedy, like I would go home and in my notes, I would tally how many roaches I killed in my kitchen that night.
Jesus.
And
they violated your territory. That's different. There's a war.
I'm being
They'll
50
be
plus a night though.
No, man, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's your home.
That's crazy. I was killing 50. I once got up to 68
roaches. Yeah, dude, that's different. You're not killing for no reason.
No, I'm killing to get the fuck out of my
but you gotta find the fucking the source.
Yeah, the sources. I guess we just had like a roach infested building.
In the building.
So, so
it's not your fault.
They had to like everybody
fumigate and shit.
Yeah,
fumigate. No, there's nothing you could do about that.
But it was crazy, man. For like that,
things like
2015.
Roaches and ants, they're gonna be just fine, man. You don't gotta worry about their numbers. You know what I mean? You're gonna be all right. And as long as you're not like dude, when I was a kid and I would like see an ant farm and kick it over like an ant hill, and just like pour beer in there like an idiot. Like that shit was ignorant. Yeah, now I won't do shit like that. And like I used to like kill spiders and kill like anything in the house. Now I'll try to catch it and let it outside. Like Thailand changed me a little bit with the Buddhism. Like I don't know, have you ever heard my bug story?
I've heard like similar theories. Like I don't know what that story is, but I know what you're talking about. Like you can change the course of history if you kill one insect.
Well, I just had an experience where I fucking killed bugs just because they were in my room, and then I had like a bug bite me on my eye, and it got really bad and infected. And then I went like it wasn't getting better, so I thought I thought my eyeball was gonna fall out. Like it got real bad. So I went to like this shaman, and he was like, "Oh, you fucked with the energy of the jungle, and you killed those bugs, and they didn't do anything to you. They were just greeting you, and you killed them. And
shit.
How do you know they weren't the king and queen of the jungle?" And I was just like, "What the fuck?" And he was like, "You need to apologize. You need to apologize to the jungle." He was this like just a hippie dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. I thought my eye was going to fall out. So I was just like, fuck it. So I went and apologized. I had a peace offering, and he told me to offer the bugs something. So I offered them this leftover pizza, and I swear to God, my eye got better. My eye was not getting better, not getting better, not getting better. And I was treating it with medicine. It wasn't getting better. I apologized to the jungle. It started getting better. So after that, I totally believe that like it's the healing energy of your body, or maybe it's actual fucking karma or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But it worked. So now I know honestly, when I killed those bugs, I felt a little guilty because I know that they weren't attacking me. I was just afraid for no reason because they were big. They were big. So it's like being afraid of a black dude in an alley for no reason. You know what I mean? Like just because they're big, it doesn't mean they're trying to hurt you. And I really learned a lesson. Like
no, it doesn't matter like, the skin color for me. If they're big, I'm still weary.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just as afraid of anybody in an alley. It could be a woman, but you know what I mean.
Big
it's like,
woman,
dude, I'm like, I don't. If I'm walking down a dark alley and you're there too, it's like one of us is here for the wrong reason. Like, I'm just trying to take a piss, you know. Like, but I was like, dude, nothing good happens in dark alleys. Nothing good. Not at late at night.
But I believe wholeheartedly that like energy and presence and stuff like maybe like your smell was different to the bugs now. Maybe you weren't like, man, fuck them, and now maybe you have more appreciative tone.
Absolutely.
And then maybe that just helped your cells in your body be less stressed, which kind of healed up the
absolutely
the blood
all
cell
that
count and all that shit.
All that.
Maybe you gave them the pizza and they released pheromones or whatever
the
shit
fuck
that healed your eye now instead of the bullshit one.
Who knows?
That's the crazy part, but
it did teach me a lesson. Like, man, you don't need to be aggressive towards any living creature. So then, and then since then, the veganism, vegetarianism, it's always like plagued me whether it would be better morally or health wise, nutritionally. But in reality, like I love eating meat. I'm gonna continue to eat meat, but I do believe that I should eat less meat. Everybody should eat less meat. We should be more conscious of where our meat comes from and how the animals were taken care of. And I do believe that. But again, I ate Denny's today. So there's that portion of the podcast. The other one is questions from the internet. So we got one from my friend Alec Minero, and I think he lives in New York, I'm pretty sure. He says, can we get sick from kissing our pets? And can our pets get sick from kissing us? Not really. There's not too many diseases that we share with animals. The one that you definitely share is rabies. You can get rabies from an animal, your domesticated animals, dog, cats. Rabies is about the only like viral disease you can get. You can get fungus. You can get like ringworm from your pet. But as far as kissing your animal on the mouth, I think that the worst thing you're going to worry about is, like, I don't know, fucking... You're
going to get microbacteria.
Yeah, you're going to get, you can get like pimples. You're going to get some kind of like skin infection, especially if you have cuts. Your animals are licking their assholes, all right? So you're going to get fecal matter on your face. So, I mean... diseases you could really get if your animal bites you, you can get rabies. Other than that, ringworm. Other than that, you can get some parasites from your pet. Obviously, fleas. Obviously, ticks. Other kind of things like mites you could get. It's just not always. It's not that common. The one thing you can get from an animal that we worry about is rabies. Outside of that, I'm not too worried about anything. If you're decently hygienic, you take care of yourself, you're gonna be all right. Fleas can't live on people unless you're fucking filthy. Fleas can't live on people because people are too clean.
Yeah, that's true, bro.
You can get lice from a pet, but that's not even too common. What else did he ask? He says, why the hell are they scratching at their mats or take so long to make their beds. Dogs like to have whatever they sleep on, dogs and cats, to smell like them, and they have scent pads on their, or scent pockets and pads on their feet and on their face, and they rub their hands on what they want to sleep on. So if you ever see your dog like digging at the bed, it's because they want their scent to be on the bed. So like say you wash your sheets or you spray your sheets with Febreze or whatever the fuck, your blankets, then you see your dog's like pawing at it, or they paw at it when they want to go to sleep because they want it to smell like them. And that's a big part of it. The same reason why your cat rubs on shit. They want it to smell like them. Were you going to say something?
Is any part of that they want to make the space more comfortable?
I mean, not really. Not really.
You know how, like sometimes we'll be at a loved one's bed, and then we'll like flip their pillows.
Oh yeah, like my dog will dig around in the blankets to get like a comfortable position, and my dog likes to tunnel. She'll like make a tunnel in the blankets that she can crawl into and like snuggle, and she'll circle until it's like snuggy for her. So yeah, for sure, they like make beds for themselves. But I'm talking about just the pawing action, just that thing. They're not like patting it down to make it softer or whatever. They're trying to make it smell like them. But yeah, they definitely make comfortable situations for themselves, and put the bedding and the pillows and the shit in the position that they want it to be. Yeah, they're super spoiled like that. They're smart.
There's just a difference between that and like them actually physically pawing at, like, wanting them to like.
Yeah, because people will send me videos. Why is my dog pawing at the blankets? Like, they're not digging. They could be. Some of them have like manic fucking OCD and they'll dig at random shit. Yeah, but for the most part, they're just trying to make the paw pads, like the literal paw pads, have scent on them that they try to like rub on there. And what else does it say? How do you get them to shut up if they're demanding? Dogs that bark, I assume you're talking about. So that's a hard one because dog barking is normal, right? Dogs bark. That's normal. So to try to get your dog not to bark is really difficult. You can try to get them away from whatever's making them bark, or when they're coming across something that makes them bark and they don't bark, you reward them. So say your dog barks at somebody walking past the window, right? So if your dog is barking at somebody while they're walking past the window and you yell at your dog, you're reinforcing that behavior. Dogs respond to two things: food and attention. So if your dog is doing something and you're talking to your dog is going to keep doing that. You have to ignore behavior that you don't want. Your dog is barking at the window. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Your dog stops barking. Reward them. Give them a treat. Give them a pat on the head. Tell them, good dog, good dog, good dog. And you keep doing that shit until they figure it out, okay? You have a dog that's not figuring it out. It's taking too long to figure it out. You got to get them away from that situation. Somebody's walking past the window. Your dog starts barking. Put them in the crate. Everybody who has a dog should have a crate. Put your dog in the crate. Your dog stops barking. Let them out of the crate. They start barking again. Put them back in the crate. They stop barking. Let them out of the crate. And eventually they'll figure it out. That doesn't work. Shock collars. Shock collars work. It's not fun. It sucks. It hurts your dog, but it works. Your dog barks. It shocks them. They stop barking. They bark again. It shocks them. They stop barking. Eventually, you don't need the shock collar. Shock collar's gone. So those are different ways to make it work, but dogs are gonna bark. There's nothing you could do. You can also, one more option, surgically remove their bark box, which some people do to their dogs. You can surgically remove their larynx box and make them not bark.
That's so fucked up, bro.
It's fucked up.
I think any kind of mutilation to your dog other than nothing, like just God, the way, of course you neuter, spayed your dog.
Spay and neuter, I can agree with, so they don't.
I don't agree with that though. I don't, because
go to the shelter. You'll change your mind.
I know that's true too, because then you're killing like copious amounts because people aren't responsible.
Hell yeah, dude.
But I also think like people also have to take another level of responsibility. Is like, don't mutilate your, like, we don't mutilate our children because our Mexican children are prone to get pregnant at 16. Like, we don't.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. That's true. But we also have to have a certain responsibility on our pets to make sure they're not getting fucked and like fucking with a pet you don't know who the fuck is happening. Like, that's also another responsibility.
But it's just like,
that's also another added level of responsibility that some people don't want to take on, but I feel like is needed, so we're not mutilating our loved ones.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in like ear cropping or tail docking.
No,
and shit
I hate
like
that shit, man.
But there are certain things like, get your dew claws removed, but declawing cats I don't agree with. But something like spay and neuter, just because I wouldn't agree with spay and neuter necessarily, except for I've been to a lot of shelters and they're all overrun. And it's because people don't properly manage their animals, like you said. They don't take care of them.
It just sucks.
But you can't make people be good parents or pet parents. You can't make them. So, but if you can make a law that if you spay and neuter your pet, it's a benefit for you financially, then people will more likely do it. We'll have less shelter issues. Because right now, the shelter problem is a bigger problem than, unnecessary surgery. Unnecessary surgery, fuck, you wasted money. Your dog didn't need it. It's fucking waste of time, waste of money. You could have invested that money in helping the shelter problems. But the shelters are all overrun the entire country. There's no place in this whole country where the shelters are on wall-to-wall homeless animals, and it's never going to stop.
Crazy part is they're doing a great job at it. Because if you go to Mexico City, man, you'll have like enclaves of dogs just hanging out.
No, Los Angeles is one of the best cities for animals and dogs and pets, but it's still overrun. I go to the shelters with my class for field trips, and it's just like a problem that you can't really fix. You can't fix it. You could just reduce it. Educate people so they care about it. It's just the same. It's an animal welfare thing. Like if more people care and celebrities care and they advertise and it helps, and it does help, and people are more educated, people are more sympathetic, and things are better. And I think one day it'll be much better. I think one day the shelters won't be all full. People won't be so uneducated. The internet will be so prolific, where everybody will know to do breed research before they get a certain type of dog. They'll know to do some future perspective calculations of their financial situation, their living situation, their home situation before they invest in an animal. And I think people will be less likely. People are already having less kids now, People will start having less pets soon, too. I feel like right now people use pets as a replacement for children, and then they slowly learn that it's almost equal. Your pet could get sick, your pet could get injured, your pet needs food, your pet needs care. So they're going to be less likely to get pets than they were even 10 years ago. So things like that will change. And I look forward to it. I look forward to the change. I look forward to helping people, because my job will never be obsolete. People can't talk to animals, so you need professionals. You need people that know what they're doing, and not in like a woo-woo way, like I could talk to animals. No, I know what works and what doesn't work to get certain diseases rectified, right? I'm going to help your sick animal heal. I didn't create the wound. I didn't create the disease. I didn't hit your dog with a car. I didn't give your dog parvo. I didn't cut your dog in a lawnmower. I'm just helping your dog's body heal.
Oh my God, that happens?
Hell yeah, that shit happens. Hell yeah, that shit happens. So as long as those problems keep happening, as long as animals are just like people. Some of them are smart, some of them are dumb. Even the smart ones get into trouble. Even the dumb ones could live forever. So it's just like, we just got to be there for them. So we're about to wrap up this podcast. No one else asked any other questions. Tamale, how's she doing now?
No, she's doing great, bro. She's doing really well. She's back to her normal routine. Also my mom and my sister came back, so it's like two more people,
care.
Two whole more fucking adults that can look after her.
Yeah, that's what pets really need. They need 24-hour care, man. And that's really why we use the crate. Where's my dog right now?
Wow.
In the fucking crate. If you can't watch them and you can't trust them, put them in the crate, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's better than your dog getting sick or injured. Like, people think the crate. Oh yeah, people think the crate is punishment, and it's not. The dogs like to be in a home. They like a den, and as long as you crate train them properly, they don't see it as a punishment. They don't. They just see it as their safe little space, and you just got to train them properly. It's the best tool. The golden rule of pet training is crate training. Crate training helps you with everything.
You know what's funny? As soon as you said that, like, it's like their own little home abode, little safe space, I swear to God, your dog literally lifted her eyebrows up, then down, all while keeping eye contact with me. So you get what I'm saying?
She knows what's up, man.
She knows. She's very intelligent. Very
She's
smart.
A terrier.
She's
a terrier. Terriers are fucking smart, man. Terriers are smart. There's a lot of smart dogs, but I like terriers because they're like problem solvers. They have a lot of personality. All right, we're going to wrap this up, man. You got any shows coming up you want to plug? This podcast will come out in like a week.
Any shows I want to plug, man? No, not really. I do have my podcast, Roger That, you guys can tune into on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts.
Play Music, Google Podcasts.
All that good snazzy jazz. Yeah, besides that, just listen to my podcast.
Where could we find you? What's your Instagram and Twitter and shit like that?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram at Roger Lopez Comedy. And then you can follow me on Twitter at Roger Lopez Comic. I just started using Twitter like 2 weeks ago, and then I post every day on my Instagram story. So if you guys are bored or just want some entertainment, definitely check out my story.
Dope. Okay, yeah, check them out, and you'll be seeing me with Roger all the time. We just did that open mic yesterday together. That's fun as fuck.
Shout out to Just Vibes Collectives for the shows that they put on, man. You got to get on their Echo Park show. You will, bro.
Was that the show you did today?
Nah, bro. I did a show in Silver Lake today. They're doing so well that they branched off of that Echo Park show. Now they're doing 2 shows, and this show was really cool too.
Let me know.
So shout out to them, man.
Let me know.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, well, today's Friday, February 21st, 2020. It's 9:47 p.m. I'd like to update you guys on that. You can find the Pet Peeves Podcast on what we got on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and Google Podcasts. And soon it'll be on everything. We're going to switch over to Anchor soon when Anchor does a lot of that for you.
I just got my shit on Anchor, and it's been working way better than everything else.
Hell yeah. So I just was told about Anchor, and I'm actually a little bit behind on it, but I'm going to switch over to Anchor, and we're going to be on all the platforms, or as many as possible. But right now, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, and Google Podcasts. And on YouTube, I'm posting all my episodes on YouTube now with just the audio, no video. That's how we do. And eventually, we're gonna upgrade to video. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Also, you can find the Pet Peeves Podcast on Instagram at Pet Peeves Podcast, on Twitter at Pet Peeves Pod. You can send me any pet questions at petpeevespodcast@gmail.com. And we'll be at next episode. I think I got with Lila Hart on Sunday, February 23rd. Just 2 days from now.
Hell yeah.
Channel 310. Shout out Lila Hart. Be the next future guest. And she's another animal lover. All right, you guys. Thanks for tuning in with us. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Roger, for being here.
Thank you, bro. This was awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. We're going to see you guys next time. Thank you for listening.
Peace.
Later.